The lounge was quiet, too quiet. A man sat in black, long hair, silver rings catching the light. People whispered, "Driver." They were wrong, dead wrong. That man was Ozzy Osbourne, and he owned the jet. Private airport lounges have a certain kind of silence. Not peaceful, the judging kind. Leather chairs, glass walls, expensive watches glinting, low voices, controlled laughter. In rooms like this, people don't just sit, they measure. Across the room sits a man dressed in black, long hair, tinted glasses, heavy silver rings. He isn't checking emails. He isn't wearing a suit. He doesn't look like a CEO. Two businessmen glance at him, whisper, "Look again." They assume he's staff. Maybe security. Maybe someone's driver. Because in rooms like this, appearance becomes a shortcut for status. But here's the truth. That man isn't waiting for instructions. He isn't waiting for a passenger. He isn't waiting for permission. He owns the jet, and his name is Ozzy Osbourne. But to understand how that's possible, you have to go back to smoke. Before fame, before stadiums, before headlines, there was Birmingham, industrial, loud, covered in factory smoke. Birmingham wasn't building celebrities. It was building workers. John Michael Osbourne was born into a working-class family. Small home, shared space, hard routines. School wasn't easy. He struggled with dyslexia at a time when no one explained it. Teachers didn't see potential. They saw distraction. He felt behind, different, misunderstood. At 15, he left school, worked factory jobs, construction sites, even a slaughterhouse. Nothing about that life pointed toward rock legend. Nothing about that boy suggested private jets. But sometimes, the loudest futures begin in the quietest struggles. Then something shifted. Music became escape. Alongside Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, Black Sabbath was formed. Their sound was darker than anything on the radio. Heavy guitar riffs, ominous tones, lyrics about fear, war, uncertainty. Critics didn't understand it. Some called it noise. But the youth heard something else. Honesty. The factories they grew up around. The anxiety of the world. It was all inside that music. Ozzy's voice wasn't polished. It wasn't technically perfect, but it carried emotion. And emotion is unforgettable. When their first album dropped in 1970, heavy metal was born, and the world would never sound the same again. Success came fast, too fast. Sold out tours, global attention, money flowing. But fame magnifies everything. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your chaos. Substances became part of the lifestyle. Sleep became rare. Pressure never stopped. The expectations were endless. And eventually, the band he helped build let him go. Ozzy was fired from Black Sabbath. Imagine that. From arena lights, to uncertainty, from screaming fans, to silence. Many believed that was the end of his story. But sometimes being fired is the beginning of reinvention. Being fired could have destroyed him. Instead, it awakened him. Ozzy launched a solo career. New musicians, new hunger, no safety net. And in 1980, Crazy Train exploded onto the scene. That opening riff, instantly unforgettable. The world realized something powerful. He wasn't surviving off a band. He was a force on his own. The comeback wasn't quiet. It was louder than ever. And suddenly, the man people thought was finished was leading the train again. The 80s were wild. Touring, headlines, controversy. But beneath the chaos, there was survival, addiction battles, health scares, public criticism. Yet he endured. Not perfect, not polished, but persistent. Then in 2002, the Osbournes aired, and the world saw a different side. Not the Prince of Darkness, but a father, a husband, funny, human, real. He didn't just survive one era, he survived generations. And that's rare. Now return to that airport lounge. The suits, the whispers, the assumptions. Ozzy never dressed to look rich. He never tried to fit corporate expectations. He stayed himself. Black clothes, long hair, rings. So if someone underestimated him, it wouldn't surprise him. Because true success doesn't need approval. It needs endurance. From factory smoke in Birmingham to shaping heavy metal, from being fired to cultural icon, he doesn't need to look powerful. He already proved he is. And sometimes, the man you think is the driver owns the jet.